Hey Gearheads, and welcome to GT Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I am your host, Cory, and in this podcast, we dive into all things automotive art with an award-winning, accomplished, photorealistic artist named Shan Fannin. She recently won the Neale Automotive Fine Art Award Invitational, the inaugural winner of the award through Texas Auto Writers Association, of which I am a member. And her work just blows me away. Not kidding. You would be hard pressed to know that these aren't actual photos. Some of them, like, you really have to zoom in to see the brush strokes and everything of that nature. She's featured in a couple publications. Will be doing the art show circuit, as the world starts opening back up, and just more than grateful not only to sit down and talk art and inspiration and technique with her, but also talk, like I said, all things automotive, talk passions, talk inspiration, talk vehicles and dreams with her. So without further ado, we will bring on Shan. Well, it is my pleasure to welcome Shan Fannin to GT Garage Talk, and just to get to talk a little bit of cars, a little bit of art. Shan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited. As soon as I saw the announcement that you won the Neale inaugural Fine Art Award for Texas Auto Writers, I was like, I have to get her on the show. Her work is amazing. And the photo that they used to make the announcement just piqued my interest even more. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
It is well-deserved. I've been perusing your Facebook page, and I'm like, you are amazing. You do excellent work. And
thank you.
Doesn't hurt that you recently posted a 69 Camaro painting that you did, which is my all-time favorite year model. So yeah, you had me hook, line, and sinker there.
Thank you. I've actually had several people tell me that, you got that one right.
Yes. Man, if I could have a 69 Camaro, ideally a Z28, in a heartbeat, would have it, no questions asked. But not quite there yet in my stage of life. One day, dreaming, planning for the future. But I want to focus not on me and my car dreams, but on you, your artwork, and kind of what got you here. So I guess we shall start off with a little bit of what you do now, and then we'll pivot to what got you there. So maybe a quick elevator speech of what it is you do now for our listening audience. I know when it comes to artwork and painting, it's really hard to convey via audio, so we will definitely put links to all your stuff in the notes below. But
awesome.
I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, I'm a realist vehicle painter, so I think vehicles, someone had to design that and just put so much passion into it. And so to me, cars, motorcycles, mostly cars. I'm a big car girl. They're rolling works of art. And so I paint with my fingers, my palms, and brushes. And I like painting big. I do have smaller pieces, but my heart's usually happy when I paint big because I smear paint. And so I have a balance in my art where the vehicle is I guess you could say hyper-realist, photorealist, and then the background is bokeh or blurred or abstract, so it doesn't take away from the vehicle. I know a lot of artists, they'll do the whole surrounding it. I don't want to take away from the vehicle. So
I'm going to show you, I've dabbled in art, automotive art, and just to brag a little on myself, hold on just a moment.
Bring it. Ooh.
Okay.
So are you graphite?
Yes.
Awesome.
So let's see if I can
get graphite
in front of the camera to where you can truly see it. Yes, this is a graphite drawing I did back in high school. It was an art project, and hearing you talk about the background, I did work from a Cadillac press photo for this XLR, but the background was totally of my own design and in my own brain.
Good for you. Good for you.
Definitely.
You got to get back into that. You got to get back into it.
I absolutely do. It was a happy place for me, but my problem is I'm a little too much of a perfectionist,
Bring it.
And
Yep.
when it came to the wheels, I could not get the wheels anywhere even close to resembling what was in the
Right. So there's a
picture
trick
I
to
was
that.
working from. And like I said, the background, I was like, no. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
just
there's a
winged it
trick.
from there.
Yeah. There's actually a trick to doing wheels. I'll tell
Oh,
you that.
really?
So, at least with my brain. So, we know that a tire and a wheel is round, but when you photograph it, it's always an ellipse,
Right.
always.
Right.
And so I find that I get so my let me back it up a little bit. My husband also photographs my cars, a lot of it for me, and
Okay.
he's also red green colorblind, so he doesn't get caught up in color like I
Okay.
do when I'm painting. So he'll come in at the end of the day, I'm done work, and he'll go, "Up, yeah, you rounded that headlight, you
Yeah.
rounded that tire," and I'm like, "Ah!" And so what I found is when I'm working on it, take your reference photo and your painting or your drawing and put it sideways or put it upside down.
Yeah.
And that way, especially sideways, if you're working with graphite or charcoal or Conte or one of those, you want to turn it sideways and then you don't get lost. I know in my head this is round,
Right.
but instead, another thing I do too is I work from 8 by 10 uh, pictures. I work from that, and then I also have my little laptop that I can zoom in and stuff like that. But I make sure that I zoom in and or I'll tape the picture for 8 by 10, and that way I only have the tire I'm focusing on,
Right.
and that really helps because if
That is
not, you just like yeah, you get distracted. You get really
Yeah,
distracted. So
your brain tells you this is how it should look,
yeah,
and it does not compute. And
exactly.
that is an awesome, absolutely definite trick I will be stealing if and
Good,
when I dabble back into the art realm, because
good.
I do remember my art teachers trying to basically wean that out of us, because
Right,
especially like doing portraits and faces, because
right.
we all have these preconceived notion that
Hmm.
our eyes should be higher than they really are versus in
Right,
the middle of our
right,
face, which is
right.
reality. And so just taking that preconception of what should be and looking at
Mhm.
what is. And so
Right.
the idea of rotating it kind of dives
Yeah.
into a editor's trick for the written word. Is
Uh-huh.
I've been told to read backwards just to make
Oh,
sure that things flow right, or that all the words are there, because our brains like to fill in gaps and
yeah.
uh, tweak and alter reality because they think they're helping. And so if you read it backwards, you get a different perspective on it, which obviously it's not going to make any sense, but
Right, right.
you see it from a different perspective. So that's very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, so that's my trick.
Well, thank you for that,
You're
because
welcome, you're
I cannot
welcome.
tell you. And if you look closely at this one, you'll probably see all the iterations
Yeah,
underneath.
yeah.
I could not get them right for the life of me. And, 7-spoke chrome wheel wasn't exactly something I was thrilled to draw in the first place, all the
Yeah,
facets.
yeah. I'm glad you kept that though, that's a little bit of my background is that we go to car shows and, I meet the most wonderful people, and
Mm,
I get to the point now where I'm looking at a vehicle and I don't see the vehicle, I see the shape,
right.
the reflection,
Hmm.
the color, how am I gonna do that? And I don't know, it's not that cars are ruined for me, but I see them differently,
Right.
you know?
You I've gotten to, in what I do for reviews, I look at the design a little bit differently. Used to, I just
Yeah.
kind of got lost in the overall, but now I'm analyzing how body lines flow into one another and the contours and the light. So a little bit of my artist
Right.
background there is just
Yeah.
like, what was the designer thinking here? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a YouTube channel, Design Monkey, I believe, or Sketch Monkey, something like that, where he takes
Uh-huh.
automotive designs and he critiques them just from an artist perspective, and
Right.
he talks about, well, this line should have followed here and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Cars are a work of art, and that's how we
They
see
are.
them.
Yeah.
And it is so interesting just to kind of, I don't want to say hyper analyze, but dig into it a little bit more and to see them a little bit differently. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to your point, you had to be careful not to, lose the forest for the trees, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I still have my first painting. You kept your drawing, which is awesome. I still have my first painting that I did when I did my first car, and we went to a car show, and my husband. Well, I'll give you a little bit. Um, we we were empty nesters, so I took a couple classes at the local community college. Not sure what I wanted to do. When I graduated high school in 1987, I got a scholarship to be a special needs drawing teacher, but I went, career and things like that. And so when I started taking some classes at community college, when our kid would start college himself, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did enjoy drawing figurative work. I
Okay.
actually took 3 drawing classes, and we went. At this time, my husband bought a 1961 Ford convertible
Okay.
Thunderbird. Thunderbird.
Nice.
Yeah, we still have her. Her name is Maybelline, and we
Okay.
started going to car shows. And I love the people. I love the
Mhm.
culture.
Mhm.
There's so many people who this was my dream car, or this has always been in the family. I was the original owner, and I just hear these amazing stories. And so we were at a show, and my husband says, hey, you've been taking some art classes. Why don't you draw or paint something? I thought, oh, there's no way. I mean, come on, the perspective and
Right.
there's no way. And I have a thing for orange. I love orange. And I saw a vintage a GMC truck. I was like, oh gosh, I want to say it was like 1949 or something like that. And I thought, okay, I'll try. I'll humor him. And I absolutely adored it. I
Yeah.
absolutely adored it. And it was like, okay, this is a new chapter in my life. I want to be a car artist. And so that was what was that? October 2014, and in February the following year. So actually next month will be my 7th year that I've
Nice.
been a professional vehicle artist, and I love it.
Well, you do amazing work, and I would not have guessed it's only been 7 years based on the
I'm stubborn.
works of art that I have seen. So that
Thank
that
you.
is quite impressive.
Thank you.
Wow, that kind of leads into uh, your history and what got you started down here. So, 7 years ago, going to
Yeah.
car shows and a little
Yeah, car
prodding
shows.
from your husband, huh?
Yeah, and, well, I grew up, my dad was not a car guy, but, he was addicted to I mean, it's an addiction, to Cadillac DeVilles from the '70s.
Mhm.
That, the big we used to call them, of course, the land yachts,
Yes, the
whatever.
boat.
And my dad loved that. I don't know, my dad grew up in, like, LA, and there was just something about style and a little bit of luxury in
Mhm.
those, and so he loved those. And so I was not a car girl at all. And then, when I married my husband, he started getting into Land Rovers,
Oh,
and we had, a Defender 90.
nice.
We've had some classics, and so he started getting me into that and started going to car shows and things like that. And then, he sold his Defender 90, which he will always cry about, especially now the prices are going sky high.
Yeah, everything of slight
And
value.
I know, right? And so, but we got the 1961 Thunderbird, and started going to car shows. He's been actually around the F1 track twice with her, with
Okay.
Felipe Massa and Marcus Ericsson before an F1 parade.
Wow.
Since we're here in Austin, and so
Yep.
we have the Circuit of Americas,
Yep.
and so yeah, it's his fault.
Well, kudos to both of you.
Right?
So, that sounds like an amazing journey. And you kind of touched on what was more or less the impetus of this very podcast and
Mm.
talking about going to car shows and hearing people's story. That's exactly where I want to take this podcast and what I want to do. There's so many people in the automotive realm. I don't want to say necessarily the industry, but just tied to automotive in one way, shape, or form or another. And just getting to hear the stories. We host a car show every year now. That is part of what we love doing is mingling and walking around the car show and getting to know the stories behind the cars. A little plug for our car show. It's one unlike any other. We don't feature the 61 Thunderbirds. We feature
Uh-huh.
the cars. It's called the Unlikely Heroes car show. So it's the cars that
Awesome.
normally would never, ever, ever, ever be invited to a car show. It's the
Right.
daily drivers, the ones being held together by duct tape and chewing gum and zip ties.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And just getting to hear the people's stories behind, why it's held together with baling wire. What does this dent tell me, or what does it remind me of? So we've
Yeah.
got a regular to our show. We call his truck Franken Truck. It's like 7 different vehicles put together.
Wow.
And I believe a majority of it is an 84 Chevy, somewhere around in there. But he has a sticker on the back window that says, "Shiny paint causes stress."
I love it.
And there isn't a lick of shiny paint on this rig. So
That's awesome.
he works tow truck by day, and I believe he scavenges parts in his day job for this. And it's a beauty of a rolling work of art in and of itself. So
Awesome.
outside of the GMC truck that you painted for your first one, and the T-Bird that y'all have in Maybelline,
Right. Thank you.
in your possession, what other vehicles have inspired you over the years? You said you didn't exactly grow up in a quote-unquote car household.
No, no. Well, I have a thing for chrome. If you look at my work, you're gonna see I don't know. I just love it. I find that carbon fiber and race cars are even more challenging in a different aspect. To me,
Right.
it's like I don't want to sound pompous, but I have a I have a thing for chrome, and I do it okay. I'm
Right.
pretty proud of what I do. When I paint a race car, I mean, just the speed is so amazing, but there's a lot of decals and things like that, and I have to do those at the end of a painting, and so those are tough. But yeah, I think more than anything, is, people will say, sometimes they'll look at one of my paintings. My husband in particular, he'll say, "You didn't enjoy this one." I could say it, you know. But then there's others that just click, and a lot of times I'll be at a car show, and something about that car, a headlight, a color, the shadow, the reflection, something will grab me, and it's almost like a giddy creative excitement that I get, and so I don't really think I don't really think cars in particular have, one specific one. I mean, there's cars I absolutely adore,
Right.
of course, I want the, silver DB5 from,
I mean, who
James
doesn't?
Bond, you know, or a Volkswagen Beetle, or, a Willys Jeep, or, I mean, they all have character. They all are amazing. And that's why I hope my work brings some of that joy and the stories that I hear from people and the love that they have for that vehicle. I hope I can grab a little bit of that and then put it on canvas. So I can't say there's really one in particular that just grabs me. It's just they all have something that's unique about them. So
Well, that's very interesting that you point out that your husband can tell the passion and the excitement
yes,
from your
yes.
work. Not necessarily that it's better or worse, but there's just something, je ne sais
Well,
quoi.
yeah, exactly. Well, they're all to me, you've probably heard artists say a piece of art to them. You've spent your time, you've spent your, a little bit of passion, a little bit of sweat and tears in there. And so each piece means something to me. Each piece is special for a certain reason. But there's some pieces where it's like going to the dentist. I mean, I'm having all my teeth pulled and I'm trying to get this piece done, and then there's other times where I feel like I'm not really there. I've got a brush in my hand and it's just doing its thing. And I've had a few of those. Unfortunately, I haven't had more.
Right.
But my if you look like I have a 1930 Indian Scout motorcycle that it's like wow, painted itself.
Yeah.
I'm painting right now. I'm painting an Alfa Romeo TZ2 Giulia, and it's a
Mm.
race car and it's absolutely beautiful. And I actually did half of it before, and it painted itself so well. I thought, oh, I'm gonna do that again. I did half the car. I'm gonna do the whole car. And now it's like I've gone to the dentist and it's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's why
Interesting.
I have 5 easels, and I, usually bounce back and forth. I tell people that I will get about 3/4 the way done with a painting. If it's not like the ones that just paint themselves, I'll get about 3/4 the way done, and I think to myself, "Okay, if I don't walk away, I'm gonna do something stupid on this canvas, or I'm gonna go rent a flamethrower and just set it on fire, and we're done with this." So that's why I juggle, some, and, like, right now I'm painting 2 5-foot, Broncos. We are, uh, we're reserved to Bronco. My husband's like a giddy schoolgirl. He's
Oh
so
my
excited
goodness. Yeah.
about it. But, and so I'm painting those right now, and right now one of them it's coming together. I'm really excited about the other one. It's the same colors and everything, different part of the vehicle, not as much. So, yeah.
Interesting. So,
Yeah,
so are they classic Broncos or are they the modern ones?
classics. Yeah,
Okay.
1970.
So lots of chrome, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, one of them has chrome. Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
But it's doing that. But I'm having that problem, like we discussed before, with art, with shapes.
Hmm.
If I turn my canvas a certain way and don't get distracted by the color, or gee, I know that's supposed to be this shape, and actually just look at my reference photo, that's helping a lot. So
That's like I said, I need to file that away. It is very good in any creative realm. Is just
yeah.
get a different perspective. So yes,
Get a different perspective. Exactly. And if all else fails and you want to set it on fire, walk away, start something new. Even something, move the furniture. I don't know, go for a walk.
yeah,
And sometimes there's paintings where I will push through and I've got this it's so weird. Like you'll wake up in the middle of the night and you'll think about a painting. It's like I should be anywhere working because my studio's in my home.
right.
And yeah, and so that I don't know. It's
N-
crazy.
Yeah, it's the creative brain. You can't plan for it. You can't. There's just something to it. It's an intangible that when the juices are flowing, you take advantage
Yeah,
of it. So
you
I
do.
totally
You
get it.
do. Yeah,
And
you do, and you get grabbed by but then there's other times where I just need to distance myself, and so that's why I said I've got 5 easels, and then you know, go between them.
you got to do what you got to do to keep
Exactly,
pushing through and make sure that you still enjoy what it is that you do.
exactly.
I get it completely, and yeah, I could see myself doing the same thing because again, going back to my Cadillac, when I got to the wheels, I was like, if it weren't a school project, I would have cast it aside and never finished it. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. Okay, so I know that you said each vehicle kind of speaks to you a little bit differently. There's always a different element, headlights, curvature, chrome, whatever it may be. Do you find yourself gravitating to any particular brand? Or you mentioned an Alfa Romeo earlier,
Yeah.
widely regarded as perhaps one of the best examples of rolling artwork is
Oh,
the Alfa Romeo
absolutely.
brand. But do you find yourself just saying, or at least having in the back of your mind, okay, I like this brand, or it's just going to be beautiful, quote unquote, no matter what
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah, my husband is a Ford guy, and I'm a Chevy girl,
Oh,
kind of.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we have
Interesting.
that, weird rivalry in the home. I have a thing for Alfa Romeos. I
Okay.
have a thing for classic Ferraris.
Yes.
I like unusual. I mean, we had talked before. My husband and I. So for some reason the other day he asked me. He says, "Hey, if you had no money, you had a bag full of money, just whatever you wanted to spend. What 20 cars would you like?" And I came up with such a strange list of vehicles. Things like a Izetta. I mean,
Okay.
I love
Yes.
that the crazy little thing, and a
Steve
Buckeye
Urkel's car.
Sprite.
Yes. You
Yeah,
can't.
a Buckeye Sprite and a Type 3 Volkswagen, a Porsche 911, and, so, I mean, I have so many different quirky I think more than anything, what I like is, when designers take a chance.
Yes. In
Um
the right way, because
Right, right. Well, there are some you're like, "Wow, that they went with that, and that came to production. Wow."
all
You
right.
know?
So I have to ask you, as an artist,
Uh-huh,
and you mentioned the Isetta, which is a
uh-huh,
BMW.
uh-huh.
What are your current thoughts on the direction BMW design is headed? Have you seen some of their latest, like,
You
spaceship
mean like
look?
their electric cars and things like that?
Yes, and even I don't even remember the name of it. I didn't even file it as important information, but this latest crossover electric concept that they showed that is more ghastly than anything, in my opinion.
Oh,
That
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
I've
Just
seen it.
yeah. To me, the brand has such an iconic design
Right.
history
Yeah, those kidneys in front, mhm, yeah.
that they are stepping so far away and leaning so heavily into this quote unquote futuristic electric that
Right,
I
right,
feel like they've lost their way a bit. And
right.
especially, you mentioned the kidney grill. They're
Yeah,
now like beaver tails, is what I call them. They're
yeah,
so
yeah.
large and bless it. They're a face only a mother could love.
We actually saw a, new Defender in the parking lot the
Yes.
other day, and my husband had like I said, my husband had a Defender 90, and boy, that man just picked that car apart. And I guess I could say part of me, I like the word. I've got mixed messages here. Part of me is very happy that we're, thinking about, electric cars
Hmm.
and help the planet and things like that. The other part of me is like, well, what happens to all the beautiful vehicles we've got on the road? What about all those cars that you
Right.
see at car shows? And someone told me many, many months ago, it's like, well, you're putting something onto canvas that might not be driven much longer. Or, when they had the horse
Mhm.
and carriage and cars came, okay, well, the horses have their place.
Right.
So will cars that run on gasoline have their, like museums and special things like that. So,
That
yeah,
makes
that's
me
something I've
wonder,
thought
will
about.
we have like classic car carriage rides
Right.
at Christmas time? Like,
Right?
oh
Right?
gosh, man,
Yeah, so
that
it's like, I mean, I'm so we have a friend that is a scientist that is working with AI and things like that, and the direction we're going is exciting but terrifying at the same time.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
and so I wonder, all these beautiful vehicles that like, I don't have enough time to do them all. There's so many amazing ones, but I wanna get them painted. I want to get them onto canvas so that there's a record of something that I found very beautiful.
yes,
Um,
I agree, and
yeah.
it seems like designers are, again, to talk about the BMW again, they're like, okay, it's electric, so it has to look weird, is almost like the
Right?
directive that they were given. It's like, well, we're not putting gas in it, so just make it weird. And I'm like,
Right.
but does it have to be? And then you get vehicles like, I'm not sure how familiar you are with all of the electrics out there. There's a startup that I really hope catches on called Canoo, Canoo,
Oh,
that they have decided basically the luxuries afforded by the way electric vehicles are designed, they aren't defined by conventional design methods anymore. And their vehicle, they've got basically a cargo van and then a truck version of it, which basically they just lopped off the back of it. But it
mhm.
looks as close to a modern interpretation of a Type 2 VW, microbus. The,
Oh, wow.
flower
Oh, yeah, I
power,
have seen this. I have seen it, yeah.
and like the entire front is glass. Like you can see
Whoa.
out basically right above the floorboard in front of you. And I love its quirkiness and its weirdness and its different nature.
Yeah,
And you and I were speaking before I hit record about you having a quirky sense of style. So,
yeah.
it's those things that get me excited. Just throw out the rule book. Don't make it look like it is just a weird looking car. Make
Right,
it functional and make it fun,
right,
is kind of the way
right.
I see it. So,
Yeah.
what are some quirky vehicles that you already mentioned the Isetta and some others? What are some other quirky vehicles that you just have
I'm
an eye
looking
for?
so my husband and I went to the, Goodwood Festival of Speed in
Oh, whoa.
2016, and I saw and I know I'm gonna mess it up, the Kamaz, the, Red Bull Dakar rally truck, this giant,
Mhm.
crazy looking thing. I adored it.
Yeah.
You can take that down the street, go grocery shopping in this. No, no. So, I love a 2002 BMW. I have a thing for them.
Hmm.
I don't know, I think it probably goes back to, high school and
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And I love it. I love like a 1970s Toyota FJ40.
Okay. Mhm.
Just something fun. And there, things like Ferrari 250 GTO,
I mean,
Aston Martin DB5. I
yes,
mean, I've got,
yes.
like I said, I like vehicles that are gorgeous, but that maybe not always that, like I said, well, like Alfa Romeos and Ferraris, and then I like the quirky side too. So, Alfa Romeo GTV, then, the classics like Porsche 911, can't go wrong with that. So
Right. I mean, a style so iconic they never change it.
exactly, exactly, exactly,
The Germans Wrangler.
exactly. And if money were no object, I would probably, I actually would love just to even see this vehicle as a Bugatti Atlantic. Ralph Lauren has his. Is it 19? I think it's 1937, and only I think the last when he bought it was 40 million. So I probably will never see
Yeah.
that car.
We
But
all
things
have
like
our dreams.
yeah. I mean, it was funny on my list that I'd made. My husband had made his list, and he likes, one of his dream cars recently is the Audi R6 Avant. He loves that, no
Mm.
Unimog, any crazy stuff. But yeah, we have some cars in common, and then some not so much. But yeah, he's like, you're never going to see that Ralph Lauren car. Sorry.
So, one kind of last car design question. You mentioned being more or less a Chevy fan.
Huh?
How in tune are you with people in design and that aspect of things? Do you know names? Do you know people?
You
Uh,
know, um, I'm actually pretty new at this industry. Like I said, next month I'll be a professional vehicle artist for 7 years now, and it's really taken me um, this long to start being recognized, I
okay.
guess you could say. I was just overjoyed. I was invited to a special exhibition last year in July. It was called Freewheeling Allure of the Automobile in Contemporary Art. And I got to meet some amazing vehicle artists there. And I actually got to meet 3 other women artists, which were kind of rare.
Right.
And so I got to go to that and just blown away. But it's taken me a while, and like I said, we live in Austin, Texas, so we're by the Circuit of Americas, and so a lot of times people show up, and they're in other people's faces and stuff, and I just want to look, I just want to photograph.
Right.
The car is beautiful, and so yeah, I'm just now really starting to just jump in, and people are starting to realize that hey, she likes painting cars, and she's doing okay. So
Well, it's my hope that we can help spread the word through this podcast. We've got listeners not necessarily all over the U.S., but also all over the world. So I was excited to see listeners coming in from like, France and Germany and stuff like that. So
awesome.
really hoping and praying to really get the word out for you and your artwork and to share what you do. Because again, when I saw the media announcement that you had won the inaugural Neale Award for Texas Auto Writers, that I was like, man, I've got to talk to her. One, and
I'm still gotta say pinch me. So
yeah, especially like I said, 7 years in, it does not show in your work because you said you're photorealistic, and some of them you would be hard pressed to even know that it's not like if you zoom in, you can see the brush strokes and things like that,
yeah.
which comes with the nature of the medium. But you do fantastic work, and
Thank you. I appreciate that.
very fun chatting with you today and talking with you. I've got some fun questions to end the interview that I'm sure we will tangent off of just a little bit because these are fun, kind of this or that questions, either or, yes or no,
Huh?
that will help maybe spark a little more conversation, help us dig a little deeper into your psyche.
Okay.
And I've got a list of, gosh, I don't even know, maybe 15, 20. I will pick 8 because in my mind, every good engine should have 8 cylinders. And we call this random misfire. And so, like I said, they're random, yes or no, this or that. So don't get too worried about it. But I will start off with the question I ask everybody because it's a quirk of my brain, and I already know the answer. But like I said, I ask everyone. And
Okay.
do you name your vehicles?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I want to say I think it's a 2015 Volkswagen Golf R, and his name is Bones. He's black and white.
Nice.
And my husband has Maybelline or 61 Ford Thunderbird. So
Nice.
yeah, the one thing about I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Any other notable vehicles in your history that have names?
You know, it's funny because I ask people at car shows now. Someone will be
Yeah.
telling me about their older vehicle, and I'll ask them, do you name it? And I would say probably about 75% of people
Yeah.
do, which is awesome. But we just, as a family, we just started really doing that. So, but we did have when we had our Land Rover. We did call. Do you remember what it was called? Oh, Snowball. It was named
Okay.
Snowball. It was white.
Okay.
So yes, we do a little bit.
My wife and I are struggling. We have had her car since, oh gosh, 2017, I want to say, and still do not have a name for it. And it's
Mm.
driving me particularly crazy. It's just we cannot settle on anything between the two of us.
Yeah.
But it's a 2014 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, so it's the
Oh, nice.
off-road version, and we've been all over the board, but we've just defaulted to, we call it the Jeep.
The Jeep.
But being the baseball fan that I am, and living in Texas, Rangers fans, Mariners fans will get this one. I drive a Chevy Cruze named Nellie, so she's Nellie Cruz,
Oh,
after the boomstick and good old Nelson Cruz of Texas Ranger, Seattle Mariner fame. But yeah, it's funny that I've done this since my very first car, and I cannot find a name with my wife of our car. And yeah, but it's fun, and I find it just, there's a little bit more of a connection there, and you want to take a little
it
bit more
is.
care of it. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
they say cars aren't an investment, but if you don't take care of them, they definitely aren't. So,
oh, no, absolutely. Well, and I think they're part of your family.
yeah.
I found too that a lot of times, a vehicle is a reflection of, someone who'll say, "Oh, gee, I want the newest Ford that's, really fast," or whatever it's ca are they an adventurous kind of person?
Mhm.
Is it the family van kind of thing? Is it the sleeper car,
Right.
that everyone thinks, "Oh, that's really slow," and it's not under the hood, you know?
Yeah, I used to play a game at car shows or anywhere I went where I would see people getting in vehicles, sometimes big stores and things like that, and try and match the person to the car.
Right,
Not necessarily profiling or anything, but just
right,
picking up on their mannerisms, how they carried
right,
themselves,
right,
how they
right.
dressed, and trying to match that. And
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
fun, and sometimes you're really surprised at who gets into what. And
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
when you see those fun, quirky cars that
yeah,
you don't see every day, that you're just like, okay, who is driving that one?
exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's fun, it is fun.
All right. Well, I believe I know the answer to this one as well, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway. Do you
Mhm.
prefer new vehicles or classic vehicles?
Probably classics if it had to have one or the other, but, um, like we were saying, electric cars and the wave of the future, like, I remember, I think it was iRobot where they had the Audi. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the one?
Yes.
It's like, and you see that, like, "Whoa, where are we going with cars? This is amazing." So, I mean, looking at that, that
Right.
blows my mind. That
Right.
blows my mind. But then I also have a thing for, vehicles of the past, and not only that, having a love when you have an older vehicle, there's a lot of love there.
There has to be.
You invest in a lot of kitty litter for the garage floor, you know? And so there's something to be said with older vehicles, you've gotta take care of them, and they're part of your family, and so, yeah, I guess out of the 2, I'm more of an older car fan.
It's funny that you bring up kitty litter, because I see, all these people with hypercars and fancy cars, especially of the newer variety, that have rugs in their garage that they park their car on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the cars I'm really drooling over would never park on a rug because of like, the quirks of a 69 Camaro. It's just what it
Exactly,
is. Sometimes
exactly,
they're temperamental, and you just gotta, love them back into shape.
exactly, totally.
All right, let's get into some fun ones here. Let's see here. I'll ask you this one because, as an artist, I already know
Mhm.
you like orange. Seems that the current trends are grayscale everything, and you are
Mhm.
hard pressed to find something in color. But for your own vehicles, are you a grayscale or are you bold color?
Well, for my paintings, I like bold,
Okay.
but my car, since we live in Texas with pollen
Yes.
and pecan tassels and things like that, we got myself like I said, a VW Golf R and in white, and it's just practical.
Yes.
Although I have had many people where I'll pull up, I remember there was a fundraiser for firemen where they had the boot where they were asking for change,
Right.
for charity, and I remember pulling up to the light and the fireman looking over me like, "Nice." Like, "Oh, Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So yeah, my car is white just because of being practical, but I do like color. I like bright.
Yeah. Uh, for me, like if I could have something in the brightest, limiest green that just shouts almost don't even care what it is. I've toyed with the idea of wrapping Nelly Cruz with GT
Oh.
Garage Talk and having just lime green and maybe a charcoal or a matte gray on it, and just getting
Uh,
that contrast. Yes,
yes,
I love color. Yeah, I know you
I do
probably can't
too.
tell from looking at me. I'm covered head to toe in navy blue, but yes, more color, please, for sure.
Yes, yes. We'll have a thing for flames too. Don't
Yeah.
ask. I
Well,
do. Older cars with
yeah.
flames on them. Oh yeah.
Yeah, given some of the generations I've seen you in your work, I could definitely see that. This isn't in the list, so I won't count this on the 8, but it just popped back into my head. You keep mentioning all the electric cars and the direction the automotive industry is
Mhm.
going. I know you're not
Yeah.
in my line of work where you get to sample everything on a regular basis, but have you driven anything electric or electrified?
No, I have
Mm,
not. I have not driven that. I would like to, but no, I haven't. I think when they started becoming more fashionable, I guess you could say, we looked at. I want to say, I think it was Leaf. Was a
okay.
Leaf
Okay.
that we
Yeah.
looked at that, and what we know, I haven't driven anything since. I would like to though. That's like I said, we're looking towards the
Mhm.
future, and that's going to be something we're all going to be doing. I still have a thing for gasoline cars though.
Yes, yes. So this maybe might check two boxes for you, but it is strongly rumored to the fact that it is almost a guarantee, or it is a guarantee that it is happening. But I mentioned earlier the Type 2 VW microbus is
Mhm.
making somewhat of a revival here on American shores in an all
Right,
electric platform. And so
right,
that mixes the electrification and the quirkiness that I'm like,
right, right.
that's
Mm.
appealing in
Yeah, a
many
little bit
different
of
ways.
nostalgia. Yeah, because that's one of my son wants a VW bus, "Mom, I want the 21 window." 21? 23.
You know.
Yeah, and I just laugh like, "Oh, honey."
Well, my wife blew my mind. She sent me a Facebook Marketplace listing for one that looks to be in good condition for 20 grand, and
What?
I'm trying to gauge how serious she is
Yeah.
because I'm about ready to pull the trigger on it because I
But you
love
said, honey.
I love Nelly Cruz and all, but she's just basic transportation. And again, given what I do, I'm driving a Ford Escape plug-in hybrid at the moment,
Uh-huh,
lent to me
uh-huh.
for a week from Ford. So I've got a nice, consistent fleet of press vehicles coming that we could afford a
There you
fun,
go.
quirky car. And I just gotta, tread lightly here. I don't want to jump
Right.
all in and scare her off. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how
Yeah,
serious?
we watched, like, the Barrett Jackson, Meekum thing, and it's just mind-blowing what things are going for nowadays,
Oh
and
yeah.
like cars that we had in high school. I remember I grew up in the 80s, and all those cars now, the Trans Ams and I don't know, all
Mhm,
those the thing,
mhm,
those are all getting a lot more popular and a lot more expensive. And because the way the world is right now with, hard time to find computer parts and
mhm.
things like that, older cars are yeah, they're
We
so
have a
appreciated.
VW thing that parks within a 2 mile
Oh,
radius of me, and I'm like, oh, can I meet the owner
I
of
know.
this? They street park it on a busy street, and I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Put
What are you
that thing in a
doing?
garage.
It's
So,
my daily
oh yeah.
driver.
All right, let's see here. Back on track. Focus, Corey. Focus. Let's see. Oh, this one would be a good one. Do you hand wash your vehicles?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I
Yes.
appreciate that.
But, well, we my husband had one of those, where you could get your car washed for a year thing, and he did
Hmm.
that, but, I don't know. Like I said, here in Texas, we've got pollen and things like
Hmm.
that, so our cars
Hmm.
get pretty dirty, and so, I don't do it as often. I try to, not use, a lot of, products that might hurt
Right.
the grass and things like that, but, yeah, yeah, I don't know, just, it's part of the family, you're
Yes.
taking care of it,
Yeah.
so
Poor Nelly Cruz has probably been the most neglected of all my vehicles. I may have hand washed Nelly once or twice, but
Uh,
it, it is life happens, and
Especially when you have kids. It's like,
yes,
"What did
yes,
I eat today?"
oh, yes, I'm there. So, yeah, I want to get back into that. I've got a fun story to tell that maybe on this podcast one day I will dive into about how hand washing a vehicle saved my life. So,
Oh my gosh.
little tease for the future there. I'll
There
just,
you go. I wanna hear that.
yes. Back to our list. Do you sing in the car?
Hmm. I do, only when I'm by myself, though. I'm not
So,
a very good singer. Everyone's got their gift. That is not
yes.
mine.
Yes, that is me wholeheartedly to a T. And the I'm about to set off to Houston, and we've got the Houston Auto Show coming up as we sit down to record this. So, in a few hours, I will be on the road for 4 hours, and there will definitely be some car jams going
Oh,
on
yeah.
there for
Oh, yeah.
sure. So,
And I'm bad too when you get to a light and someone's, pulls up against you. I'm not singing then, but once that light changes, I'm singing again. So
I'm back and forth. Like you get lost in your art and you say some of them paint themselves. There are some songs that I don't care. Gawk away.
I'm doing it Broadway.
Laugh, film me, whatever you want to do. Put me up on TikTok. I don't care. But yeah, there are just some that you enjoy wholeheartedly.
Enjoying it. It's the experience. That's part of being in a great ride too. Is
Exactly.
enjoy it. Pull down the window, open up the sunroof. I mean, enjoy it.
So that leads into the next one
Oh,
would be what would be your ideal driving playlist, whether it's a genre, an artist, any particular songs that you just gotta have if you're on a long drive.
well, when I paint, it's gonna sound strange. I actually listen to techno, that sort of thing. That
Okay.
that constant beat. It's the same beat that I use like when I go jogging. It's the
Hmm.
back of my head or whatever. As far as like music goes, though, I'm a really big Ella Fitzgerald, Louis
Okay.
Armstrong, that kind of Nat King Cole and
Okay.
Nina Simone, that sort of thing. So yeah, and then I used to I used to work at a record store when I was a teenager, so it's like I've learned to like so much
Right.
stuff. And then part of me likes classical too. But as far as like in the car, I don't know. My husband, he does a lot of we used to drive a lot, and he's always had those CDs with driving music, number one or whatever, But as far as when I'm on the road, it just really depends on the day, and
Yep.
sometimes the best thing to do is just to roll down the window and just listen,
Yep.
and just enjoy the drive. So
Yep. I agree on that, and like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of mood I'm in for my trip down to Houston. But yeah.
you'll find it. You'll find it.
Oh, let's see here. Let's see. That's 6. So I've got only 2 more. My goodness. Well, given your car being a part of the family, naming them, hand washing them, I've got to ask this one. Do you change your own oil or do you take it somewhere?
My husband does. So I'm
Nice.
a lucky yes. So I'm a lucky girl. I guess I mentioned before. My husband has influenced me on so many things, and so our kiddo, we homeschooled him for 16 years, and he was an Eagle Scout, and so things he had to learn were car maintenance and car repair, and so that was part of dad's son time is learning that sort of
Mhm.
thing. So I love it that he can do that though. He
Yep.
changes our oil and, he's really great about, "Oh, your tires, you can't drive these in the rain, we need to get these, changed
Right.
right away," and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm not mechanically inclined,
Okay.
so I'm very fortunate that I married someone who's got it together with that sort of thing. So, but no, I don't do it myself.
You say the father son thing. I've got to get that started. I have never. Well, I take that back. I have changed my own oil. It's more going back to time and facility. Not
Right.
not really facility because I've got a garage. I could do it. I've got a decent driveway. It's more or less having the necessary equipment and then recycling the old oil.
Yeah.
Being a slight problem for me, but that is something that I want to teach Tucker. You and I were talking about. Uh, did we raise our kids right and send them off right? Do they know the things that they need to know
Exactly.
before they leave?
Exactly.
So yeah, yeah, you've inspired
But
me.
just remember, they can always come back later. Like I said,
Right.
our kiddo, "Hey, mom, what was that recipe?" or whatever. Our kiddo asks, actually not that long ago, he was asking about, retirement. Wow, you're only 25,
That's
but that's what,
very good.
so it's great. Yeah, so it's great. They come back. They do. They come back to you. So.
Okay. Oh, so many good ones here. I just I gotta end on a good one. Let's see. I already know y'all are probably Team Bronco. You've got one on order.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
he's so excited. So excited. Actually, he's been on hold for it for a while now, and yeah. It
So I had to
it's
ask.
becoming an obsession.
Yeah, I won't count this as the final question, but did y'all see the announcement yesterday about the new Bronco Raptor and just the
Yes.
craziness?
Yes. He came in, I was doing dishes like, "Honey, did you know?" You know? And I'm thinking all I can think of is, "Oh, how much is in our savings? I don't
Yeah.
know about this, buddy." So, yeah, he just happened to drop that yesterday.
You got to phrase the questions, time it right,
Exactly.
all that good stuff. So, you've been waiting for a while. We have a good friend of the channel that bought his like 2 or 3 days after the announcement because the site went down and
Mm.
all that fun stuff. Got his on Black Friday. Literally drove to DFW to pick it up. Picked it up on Black Friday, and I joked that he won the mother of all Black Friday shopping prizes. And he and I promptly, for his first time ever, took it off road to a very well known in the area off road park here and did some crazy stuff and got a video for YouTube. And there was one part
Awesome.
where he and I both clinched up because one of the wheels, dropped off a cliff and just the teeter effect that it did. I'm outside of it, downhill of him filming, and I'm like, I put a rookie in a very tough situation, and I just turned him loose in his brand new 2-week-old car.
We my husband and I were off-roading. He used to go, like I said, he was part of the Land Rover Club,
Mm.
and we used to do off-roading events and everything. And I got to drive our Defender, or excuse me, our Land Rover Classic, and they got a picture of me like that too, where the wheels were off and
Yes.
everything. And then they were asked, the people of the event asked me to write an article, and I got to be in Land Rover magazine. I was on the cover, very very tiny
Nice.
little picture, but yeah, it is a little bit scary. It's like sky, ground,
Yeah,
sky,
yeah.
ground.
And you can never adequately capture it on camera. Like
No,
we've done some crazy obstacles and tricks and different things, and the YouTube commenters, people behind a keyboard, and
yeah,
they'll be like, "Well, my Toyota Camry could do that," and I'm like, "No, it
mm,
couldn't." Trust
yeah,
me,
exactly,
it couldn't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
oh man, so you leave me with two very good options here for the
Mm.
last one with that last little anecdote. And I'm going to go with, do you prefer off-road driving or on-road driving? Because you do have the Golf, which is quite a fun little
I
on-road
do, but
rig.
but off road driving is really crazy. I mean, with mud and trying to be careful with the terrain and not harm anything, but enjoying your time and listening to your spotter,
Mm-hmm.
having a good good event going where people are watching out for each other.
Right.
You know, we've been to many events where something is broken, which is inevitably will break when you're off roading. And oh hey, I've got that in my car. You can borrow it and that sort of thing. And so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so off road is fun. I My husband is a speed junkie. I am not. So we have friends that have amazingly expensive cars, and we even know a race car driver here in town. And yeah, I off road.
Yeah. And if you can find a good facility, there's just so much to love about that.
Right,
So
right.
we are fortunate enough to be an hour away from a facility. It's Barnwell Mountain Recreation Area in Gilmer,
Mhm.
Texas. And we've got a good partnership with them. So I can show up and use them as my home test ground. And my goodness, the fun out there. It is a massive park. I've
It
only
is.
recently really discovered all that there is out there. And it's just a great pastime that is only picking up more thanks to the Ford Bronco and the
Exactly.
excitement there. I know that the Wrangler's been around forever, but just seeing that kind of friendly rivalry going on between those two camps makes it all the better for the
And
rest
it's
of us.
kind of a family too. Like I said, they all watch out for each
Mhm.
other. They're there to be safe and to have fun,
Right.
and yeah, and so we've been to Barnwell many times, and
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
it's awesome.
Yeah, a hidden gem in the hills of East Texas. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
It is.
like I said, just so blessed to be so close to them. So, you are actually the second guest that we've had on the podcast that is familiar with Barnwell
You.
firsthand. So, that's
It is
kind of
an amazing place. Actually, that's where, if I'm not mistaken, that's where we photographed where we had the scary tire up off the ground.
nice. Nice.
Yeah, but I know what you mean when people are like, "Oh, come on, that's just so
Yeah.
easy." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes.
but when you're in it, you're like, especially when you're driving them because Ford had the Broncos and people were allowed to go out there and that sort of thing. It's like, okay, this isn't my vehicle. I gotta be
Mhm.
really careful,
Yes, yes. For us, it's like, okay, I signed these waivers, but
I know.
what did that fine print really say?
Exactly. So if I puncture a tire, what happens? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My worries are a little bit more than tires, but it is what it is. Like you said, listen to your spotters, and you will do
Exactly.
well.
That's what they're there for. They can see things you can't see. So
It's amazing how many people think, especially with all the cameras and stuff that are out there now, that, oh, I don't need a spotter. Yes, you need a spotter. If you
yes, you
plan
need a
on doing
spotter.
anything technical, you need a spotter. Don't go out alone.
Exactly.
So, my little
Exactly.
PSA for the end of this episode: get a spotter.
And a good one. A
Yes,
good one.
that knows what they're doing. So,
Exactly.
well, Shan, thank you so much. I knew this would be a fun one. I knew we would jump all over the place. I'm sure we can talk for hours and hours more. There's so much that we just scratched the surface of. But I want to give you one last opportunity to uh, point my listeners, your future fans, in a direction where they can find you, your work, and some of what you do.
Well, they can find my website at www.shanfannin.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Shan Fannin. And in June, I'll be in Hyperrealism magazine, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got asked to do that, and then, I'm in a show coming up, by the American Women Artists, it's called The Rise of American Women Artists Breaking Through, and that's pretty cool. That's at the Customs House Museum in Clarksville, Tennessee. So,
Wow. Well, congratulations. That's
thanks.
well, it is always rewarding to have those types of events where you're asked to be a part of, or you were interviewed, or your work is featured, because not that we need it, but that validation just
Oh, yeah.
kind of helps spur you on that, okay, this isn't like just something for me, like other people are enjoying it and I can bring joy to other people. So,
Exactly, and that's the one thing with the world being kind of on a standstill for 2 years, I haven't been to really haven't been to very many car shows. I think the last one we went to was 2020, the Radwood here in
mm,
Austin,
mm.
which I believe they're going to have it in the fall this year. I'm not quite sure, but I'm looking forward to that. But other exhibitions, art exhibitions, and things, we really haven't been able to do a lot of those. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to life resuming, getting out
Yes.
there. My next trip that my husband and I, we've been to, like I said, we've been to England, we've been to Modena, Italy for Lamborghini and Ferrari for me to photograph. We've been to Japan. My next one is Germany.
Cool.
We were going to go to Germany in March of 2020, and then the world went crazy. So
Well, I've got some further fun questions for you and for our fans behind the Patreon paywall. So I'll have you stick around after we sign off here just for a couple more questions. If you want to know a little bit more about Shan, where she would go, what she would spend her money on, go find us at patreon.com/GT Garage Talk. As far as Shan goes and all of her links, we will put those down in the show notes below in this episode. If you're curious at all, go find her. Go check out her artwork because, like I said, just truly amazing. Blew me away the first time I saw it. She was very well deserving of all the accolades coming her way, and looking forward to hearing and seeing more from you.
thank you so much. I had a wonderful time.
Well, there you have it. Again, very grateful to Shan Fannin and the time that she spent coming on this podcast. It was a blast. We are aligned in our ways of thinking on a lot of things in the automotive realm. She has some fun stories to tell. Like I said, we barely scratched the surface with some of them. Would love to dive deeper, but just, a little taste into her mind, her psyche, and what she's doing. Definitely be sure to go check her out. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We will put all those links down. You can head over to our website as well. It's nearly impossible to capture just how great her artwork is on an audio-only podcast. So definitely go give her a like, go give her a follow, check out her work because it is amazing stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of it in person at some point in the near future. Don't know what that may be, but we do thank her for coming on. And like I said, all the links to her stuff will be in the show notes down below. As for us and what we do, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all at GT Garage Talk, and everything we do can be found at gtgaragetalk.com. Until next time, bye.